the capital raising part of our operation has been challenged. We have not seen an IPO on the senior market this year, but because we've got this great ecosystem that's not just senior market, it's junior market and senior market, we've still been bringing new companies to market on the junior market. We've brought a record number of ETFs to market on the senior market. We've had small companies graduate up, and we've had impressive growth in our data operations around the world. Our energy market out of Europe has been very strong. Our index operations out of the US have been very strong. And our new marketplace that we've launched in New York has been up and running quickly. And so it's really that testament to a diversified business model that's much more resilient than we would have been 5 or 10 years ago.
You mentioned listing new ETFs. What's the ETF market out there right now?
Well, we've brought over 50 new ETFs to market right now this year. It's actually been the highest level of new ETF issuance in the 10 to 15 years we've been doing it. And as usual, the Canadian market is very innovative. So even before the US market, we brought 4 new Solana-based ETFs to the Toronto Stock Exchange just a week or so ago. That's the first marketplace to do that. So we're continuing to see this continuous innovation from our partners in the Canadian ecosystem. We've got a regulatory community that actually understands how to kind of approve new products to bring them to market quickly. And that's something that's part of our Canadian competitive advantage that we want to keep. Especially at a time frame when you're thinking about how do you compete globally, how do you compete with a US ecosystem that's going to get more competitive as well. Having that great strength in Canada in terms of the ETF market, right back from the fact that we invented the ETF 35 years ago right here on the Toronto Stock Exchange, that we're continuing to be the world leader in that innovation. That speaks very good strengths for the future.
TMX Group has been active in acquisitions over the past couple of years. Remind us of the acquisitions you've made and how have they affected the results? What does organic growth look like beside or compared to acquisition-driven growth?
Well, that's such an important question because the 20+% growth we had does have some acquisition in it, but even when you take that out, we were growing double digit this year because we've actually really built a platform that can grow organically. But we are enhanced by those pieces that we're bringing in. So just over a year ago, we acquired Verify. This is an index and ETF operation business based out of the US. It allows us to provide indices to ETFs, new benchmarks, new distribution tools, marketing tools to really help this sector. And with that, we've done 2 additional acquisitions since then to really bolster the capabilities. We bought an organization called Index Research based out of Tel Aviv that gives us access to the European market. And just this January, we made a small acquisition of the Credit Suisse bond indices. So it expands us into another asset class so we can serve clients in another way. So you can see we keep tucking things in here to expand our capabilities to meet the needs of clients. And in other parts of the franchise, one of the acquisitions we did last year was an organization called Newsfile. And it's about how do you move kind of beyond just being a listing agent in the capital market. So providing all those additional services that a public company or even a private company needs. So not just going public, but how do I talk to my shareholders? How do I do disclosure, transfer agency? All these things are now part of our TMX Corporate Solutions business, which Newsfile became part of when we acquired it last year. And just this quarter this year, our trust business, which candidly, we've been in this for over 10 years, but we've made acquisitions along the way, just became #1 in Canada in terms of transfer agency. So it's all part of that long-term growth of getting beyond just that transactional activity, creating a deeper relationship with the client and serving their needs across a multiple product suite.
How would you describe the company's technology spend? There is a reference to upgrading foundational clearing technology. What is the technology spend like at TMX?
It's the #1 area where we invest. And it's actually one of the things that our whole team's aligned on is that we should always be looking to eliminate any what I'll call technology debt in the organization. So the post-trade product, that's the post-trade program, that's the biggest endeavor we've taken on. It just went live last week. This has been a 7-year initiative, the largest spend we've ever done, and candidly replaces all of Canada's back office architecture. So sometimes the back office systems aren't the sexiest ones that get all the attention, but this is all the plumbing that makes the Canadian markets work. Everything from clearing to settlement to corporate actions to entitlement processing. And what we've actually done in the Canadian market with help of our partners, our participants, our regulatory partners, is replace the whole thing end to end. It's the largest scope initiative of bringing the TCS Banks platform, our technology partner, to a marketplace done anywhere in the world, all done over one weekend and executed with excellence. Now, A long project like this has lots of challenges, and anyone that's done large technology initiatives know that. When you're going over this time, we had to contend with the challenges of COVID. We had to contend with the challenges of moving to a T+1 settlement environment. And as we've gone live this last week, there's going to be things that we need to adjust and fix along the way. So I'd like to just take the opportunity to thank the patience of all our participants, because it's been a heavy lift for them as well. But at the end of the day, once we're all done and we get through this kind of hypercare transition period, we're going to have the best platform in the world for clearing and settlement. It's going to allow us to bring more services to the industry, save them money, provide more efficiency, collateral solutions, new products. And that's really what we're about. You know, our whole purpose is to make markets better. So making these kind of legacy technology investments allows us to do that for the long term going forward.